Live from Denver, this is Fox 31 News at 9. We're on it.
I will fear no evil, for you are with me.
Amazing grace.
Right now at 9, Colorado remembers the lives lost.
They are you, and they are me.
And the lives upset by 1 year of the COVID pandemic here. Tonight, a ceremony at the state capitol. Colorado buildings lit up in magenta. And the governor's new message of hope.
We don't quit because we're Coloradans.
And how Colorado's first responders are remembering their co-workers who they've lost.
Local musicians are struggling 1 year into the pandemic, fighting things like depression and substance abuse.
This is very serious.
A closer look at the problem.
Plus a year of covering COVID in the news. A look at the big changes behind the scenes at Fox 31. Now we start you at 9, remembering a year of COVID in Colorado. During that time, more than 433,000 cases have been diagnosed here. Nearly 2.6 million Coloradans have been tested for the virus, and this staggering number, nearly 6,000 lives lost. The arrival of a vaccine marking a turning point. The state has distributed more than 1.6 million doses. About 965,000 people have already been given one dose. More than 500,000 others have already gotten both shots. All across the state tonight, buildings lit up in magenta, the colors symbolizing universal love, compassion, support, and kindness.
Yeah, the governor encouraging everyone who can to do the same thing. And Governor Jared Polis addressing the entire state from the steps of the state capitol today, 1 year to the day that the first 2 COVID-19
coronavirus is now in Colorado.
One case identified out of Summit County.
Silent, swift, and serious. The virus took hold of our state.
And I remember them dropping the IV, and then less than 24 hours later, they had me on a vent.
Our world upended in a flash.
Staying at home is our best chance, our only realistic chance to avoid a catastrophic loss of life.
We wore our masks. We kept our distance, doing our part to ease the burden on healthcare staff.
You always worry about, am I going to become infected? And if I am I going to infect a loved one?
We adapted. We stayed strong, standing together, just a little farther apart than before.
I want to send a heartfelt message of appreciation to all the doctors, nurses, and staff.
We found heroes and lost some along the way.
Now, breakthrough vaccines are rolling out, a bright hope at the end of a dark, uncertain year.
Tonight, we pause.
I don't think any of us can ever be fully prepared for the news of the last year.
Remembering those we've lost. Reflecting on the challenges we've overcome and looking ahead with optimism to Colorado's comeback.
There are brighter days ahead.
Tonight, let's just take a moment, take a breath, and appreciate where we are right now.
That's right. You've done your part. Together, we've made it through 12 months of coronavirus worries and concerns, and we know it hasn't been easy. Hopefully, it won't last much longer either. We finally have light at the end of the tunnel. Welcome to Denver 7 News at 10. I'm Brian Sanders.
And I'm Jacqueline Allen. Thank you so much for joining us. This evening, Governor Polis addressed our state, encouraged all of us to reflect on the difficult path that we've traveled, and rest assured that we can beat this, saying we are almost there.
Denver 7 CB Cotton is live at our state capitol this evening. CB, this was a night to reflect and honor the 6,000 Coloradans we have lost to this awful virus. Also a moment of optimism for our state.
Jacqueline and Brian, it certainly was, and I'm actually right here in front of the city and county building.
A year of COVID in Colorado. Today, our state mourns what we've lost and honors the victims of the pandemic.
Each of us has lived a different experience over this last year, but every one of us has reason to mourn.
A family reflects nearly a year after losing a husband and a father to COVID-19.
I have to resist the temptation to pick up the phone and call her.
But there's light in the darkness. 1 million more people can now get a vaccine in our state. Plus, the sound of music as hearing it live makes a comeback in Denver. It has been exactly 1 year since Colorado confirmed its first cases of COVID-19. And in the span of a year, everything changed. Statewide lockdowns to curb the spread left streets and airports deserted in the first few months. Businesses shuttered, some for good. Thousands of Coloradans still out of work. Grocery store shelves were cleaned out of toilet paper and cleaning supplies for weeks. Teachers, parents, students navigating remote learning. The class of 2020 missing out on so many milestones. Families separated from their loved ones in nursing homes and hospitals. And healthcare workers have continued their nonstop effort to test, treat, and vaccinate. Well, tonight, landmarks all over Denver lit up as part of Colorado's Evening of Remembrance. The magenta honors the 6,000 Coloradans who have died from COVID since this started. Andrea Flores leading off our news coverage tonight from the Denver City and County building. And Andrea, even with the governor's somber message tonight, there's still a lot of hope.
There is, Karen, and Governor Polis explained why the state used the color magenta on this day of remembrance, and he says it symbolizes.
No matter how often we're knocked down, we keep getting up.
Coloradans reflect on a difficult year, the lives lost, and the kindness that brought us together.
This left some permanent damage on all of us.
A doctor and nurse were on the front lines treating the sickest patients. Tonight, they share what's giving them hope.
In nursing homes where COVID spread quickly and killed more than 1,500 Coloradans, the vaccine is now saving lives.
The vaccine has been kind of our golden ticket.
Nearly 1 million more Coloradans are now eligible for the vaccine. The rollout has hit some bumps. People who were scheduled for today are having to wait a bit longer after one clinic overbooked. 9 News at 10 starts now.
It was 1 year ago today Colorado reported its first COVID cases. 1 year since life changed so drastically. Coloradans quickly learned a new vocabulary. We got a crash course in public health terminology.
Shortly after news of the first case, businesses were closed, people lost jobs, and we started losing our neighbors, family, and friends. Tonight, Colorado paused to remember the nearly 6,000 Coloradans who died due to COVID.
The very foundation of all of our lives has been shaken by this experience, and I know that sometimes it can feel like just getting through another day can be a victory.